going to be a good one. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. All right, so you've probably heard of DePINs, and if you haven't, it's basically, think of it as an infrastructure, a decentralized infrastructure, which is kind of the acronym that it's being used for. We're going to get into a whole slew of clips here that will show you how a decentralized infrastructure system will work, because essentially what you're talking about is the next generation of the internet. So I want to lead off here with this first clip, and this is talking about Helium. We've had them on the show many times. We've talked about Helium for years, I think, but I want you to listen in to where they are now. Take a look.
And this is our IoT network, deployed over the last 4 years, which would be really unheard of in any kind of telecom context. And so this is a company called LimeLoop. They make reusable packaging. Like, imagine if all of your packages were these kind of reusable containers. So things like returns were really, really simple. Embedded inside of the lining of this container is a LoRaWAN tracker. And that LoRaWAN tracker gives the customer and the e-commerce provider exact knowledge of where that package is, better than UPS or DHL or in the US, the United States Postal Service could tell you. I think the other really, really amazing story that I saw a couple of weeks ago, there was a storm in Portugal, Storm Eileen, and the sensors that they deployed, this is a company called Green Metrics, to figure out where floods were happening near real time. 12 different flooding incidents as they were happening or before they caused millions of dollars of damage.
A lot happening here in the future of all this. Let's go into how Helium is affecting Solana. Listen in.
We are seeing now, so there are about 150,000 active wallets migrated over to Solana. And even to this day, there's about 60,000 monthly active wallets. And of those 60, about 30 are using other Solana programs. So if any of you are building stuff in Solana and you saw a little lift in your usage, thank those folks, not me. We're excited to work with the render team to help them move to Solana.
The point is more users for all the Solana dApps, all the projects, developers that are out there building. These are the kind of things. And that's the kind of unique thing that is happening with Solana, is there's so many of these projects that are integrating to each other. I think that's the dangerous thing for almost any other blockchain that is out there today, if you think about it. Just as a reminder, we have done a ton of videos on Helium, and we've also had the Helium Mobile team on, so go check that video out. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, just search Helium on our channel, and you'll see a whole bunch of interviews with Frank Mung and the team over at Helium, just to get your framework. If you don't know anything about it, it'll help you get caught up on all that good stuff. I want to go to our next clip, and this is talking about Helium Mobile and why this is so important to the next generation of mobility. Listen in.
$5 a month. I pay like $70, $80 a month on Verizon. How do you do the $5 a month?
I know, it's like insane. The way that they have to go about deploying things is super inefficient. For every single one they deploy, they have to go negotiate with a landlord to get some square on their rooftop, and then they have to send somebody out there to put it up there. They have to have a legal team to write up the legal contracts to lease that land for however long. They also have an oligopoly, so they can charge whatever they want.
Remember, don't forget, Helium Mobile has only been launched in Miami. So the likelihood of them growing, now $5, and we had them on the show, we asked them straight up, can you hold $5? They kind of answered, probably not, but they're going to be much, much less expensive than what we would get in traditional mobile. So that is the opportunity that really exists here. Now, don't forget, there's some other things happening over at Breakpoint. Of course, we talked about Teleport last year. Teleport is an app available in the iOS now. Big deal. That was their launch. If you don't know what Teleport is, it's basically a ride share. Think of it Uber for blockchain. Okay, just simple as that. Listen to this video or this clip here because it goes into their growth potential. Take a look.
Rideshare, according to McKinsey, might be an $800 billion a year revenue industry. Other estimates are around 280, 300 billion. So let's be conservative, say 300 billion a year. That's almost Bitcoin's entire market cap every year going through rideshare. Now imagine that getting onboarded and being transactions with something like Circle, USDC, on the Solana network. That could be the beginning of turning Solana into the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. I mean, that's just one protocol for one function, right? Every other city in the world is suddenly going to think, oh shit, why does city X, why is that the only place where I can currently get these network rewards from the rideshare protocol? And they're going to push hard to coordinate locally to launch the next city. Once we have 2 cities launched, oh my God, this can go very, very fast. And that's just like what you've seen with Helium. These things go slow, 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 and then they explode.
It's actually been fun to watch it happen in Miami.
Yeah, we're in the iOS App Store right now, and we're about to launch our first city in the United States early next year.
Any alpha in which city?
We're probably going to run a competition between different places.
That's going to be Miami, for sure. It's got to be. Could be Austin, maybe. We'll see. Point being that he hits on, and I think this is true, this affects the Solana ecosystem in a very, very big way. So you have to look at the legacy system today, and the legacy system today is Uber and Lyft. So let's not forget Uber and Lyft now paying $328 million in settlements to rideshare drivers for stealing earnings. So this is another problem that came from the New York Attorney General. Now, another one to talk about is, of course, Hivemapper. We're going to have the Hivemapper CEO on the show next week. Hivemapper we weren't able to get the clip from their talk there at Breakpoint, but we're going to have them on the show next week, and we're going to do a full breakdown of what's happening in Hivemapper. If you guys don't know what Hivemapper is, check this video out. It's a pretty cool device that does a lot around mapping, so just understand that. I want to go over to another clip here and kind of go into a section here of today's video to talk about Render. It is about to do some things that I think will blow your mind. Listen in.
Chances are the Render network has touched something that you're experiencing. We currently support all the leading 3D content creation tools, including Cinema 4D, Houdini, Unreal Engine, Unity, and Blender, the fastest growing open source 3D ecosystem. We've processed over 9 million frames to date on the network, almost 200,000 jobs.
Let's jump over to some real life applications. Take a look at this next clip.
We paid out 75% more render in October. What drove this? Large-scale displays, spatial jobs, and multi-renderers. Just last week, we saw the first ever job processed for the Las Vegas Sphere. Traditionally, we had HD jobs. Those grew into 4K jobs. These new Sphere jobs you see are 4 times 4K jobs.
This is just the beginning, okay? You think of entertainment, but I want you to think of the compute power that Render solves around what they're actually doing in terms of rendering graphics and animation. Eventually, AI will be having a certain level of need that, of course, Render could address. The opportunity is real. I want to go over to what's happening with Render along with Apple Vision Pro. Listen in.
Then further, Apple's entry into the XR field is game-changing for the Render network. So stereoscopic content takes us from anywhere from 8 to 50 times regular jobs today. Finally, there's spatial content, pre-rendered 3D content you can explore. And finally, with our own light field technology, and the results are absolutely stunning on the Render network using the Apple Vision Pro simulator. So you immerse yourself in it and then have full 360 view navigation and movement. The screenshot I'm showing here is a single light field, which an artist paid 81 euros for in October. If they wanted a video, you can multiply this by 30, 60, or 90 frames per second, depending on the resolution they're looking for. So you've got a really massive step up in the types of jobs and the compute need for these jobs as Apple makes the step into the XR space, which is expected later this year.
Render is affecting a lot of industries almost simultaneously. A lot happening here. Now, let's go over to another quick video. This is talking about Render officially going on to Solana. Listen in.
So I know many of you have been waiting patiently for the Render network to come to Solana. I'm excited to say that time is now. You can upgrade your existing tokens through our upgrade portal. We're launching an SPL token called RENDER, and we also have a proposal out to the community to approve 1 million in render incentives for those who upgrade early.
You can do it right here on their upgrade.render network. It goes right into connecting your ETH wallet and then connecting your Solana wallet. And that's going to give you your upgrade path directly there. People don't really understand what this is going to do just yet. But there is a lot happening right now around render. I want to go to another video here real quick. This is talking about, and I want you to pay close attention to this clip right here. This is one that I think will bring it home for you. Listen in.
What's the most valuable asset in the world? Is it gold? Bitcoin? We think it's GPUs. Compute requirements for AI apps are doubling every 3.4 months. This has caused the cost of AI to soar. And while training as a model is expensive, running it is even worse. This is going to be a $1 trillion market. The total demand for GPUs is around 20 to 25 exaflops, while the supply is only 10. We're going to put 1 million GPUs on Solana to build the world's largest AI compute cloud. We're up to 90% cheaper than the cloud. Connect to the system, install some software, and from there, you can monitor your reputation, track your performance, and claim your rewards. You can increase your utilization rates to 100%. You can make up to 15 times more than mining. And we have a wait list of over 100,000 GPUs that want to get on the network.
The point is that this could replace mining in general. Think about it as a miner. Just sit back and look at the infrastructure you're going to need in terms of GPUs, the potential capacity here, and what he talked about, which I think is very informative around the idea of replacing cloud. All of this could be playing out in the very near future. All of this happening within the Solana ecosystem. So definitely something to watch for sure, guys. Let's go into this last clip here on render, and I want to get into how the platform is starting to launch. Listen in.
Instead, with IO, you are just 90 seconds away from deploying a 20,000 GPU cluster. Later on, we also have more integrations in our pipeline, including Unreal and Unity for gaming applications and to power the metaverse. You just select a cluster type that fits your model needs. If sustainability is important for you, you can go ahead and select for green GPUs that are fully powered by sustainable forms of energy. So this is BC8, the platform that I mentioned, a generative AI platform that allows users to create these beautiful photorealistic images with high-quality graphics and lighting.
All right, so to give you guys a frame of this, here is the Explorer for IONET. And you can kind of see their current status here. But again, remember how many GPUs they said they had in waiting. If you go over here to BC8, and you just click into it now, you can try it. Think of it as the stable diffusion. And of course, AI is going to be one of the biggest explosions in compute power requirements over the next decade. So being in these kinds of infrastructures is going to be very key. I want to go over, of course, to a couple more links here. I want to get into this clip that talks about Helium Render and then Solana Pay, all of this kind of linking together. Listen in.
Then there's another project that's currently being built for Hyperdrive. It's called Shaga, which lets you rent out your gaming PC to other people to use. And then there's a nice project which is called Katzentracker.eu, which is German and means cat tracker. And they have like tiny LoRaWAN devices to track cats, bikes, cars, etc. And here you can already see there's a pump involved now this time. And when you scan this QR code, it will activate the pump for a certain amount of time, and there will be coming some wine out of this. Scanning this QR code, here's the Raspberry Pi in the box. Then we scan this, and as soon as the transaction is approved, the pump pumps the wine into the glass. This means the sensor sends its data, hey, I'm now open to the next Helium hotspot. Then it arrives in our Next.js, and from there I can then do whatever I want with it. In these Pokemon collecting games, it's difficult to figure out if the people are actually at the position where they are. But with LoRaWAN sensors, you can be sure that they are at the right position.
Now, I'm gonna kind of connect the dots here. I know that's a very complicated model that you're trying to understand there, but the idea is, because they're bringing in location, think of it as geolocation. Look at how retail is integrated into this, infrastructures through sensors. So this could affect all sorts of different industries. I'll tie this together at the end here to kind of give you an example of a real world use case. One of which is an area around wine spirits. So this is a tracking on wine spirits. Listen into what they had to say about this, because this is exactly the model that this is going to affect.
So when you look at the total global wine and spirits market, It's somewhere between $800 billion and $1.3 trillion. But you think about the amount of wine, the amount of alcohol that sits in a liquor store, the amount of stuff that's sitting in a vineyard, sitting in a distillery. Of that, $56 billion is sitting in people's basements right now. The issue with all of these assets is they're highly valuable, they increase in price, they move opposite in the direction of the economy, they're known as safe havens of wealth, but they're illiquid. You now have these bottles that are verified, you know where they are. We're working with Helium to actually put the trackers on them, so not only do you know the GPS location, but you know the temperature, the humidity, you can actually monitor the actual life cycle of the barrel of whiskey, the bottle of wine. So what they traditionally have ended up doing is selling off the barrels to private equity firms who sell it back to them in 60 years at a 400% markup. So it's great for the private equity guys. It's pretty bad terms for the distilleries, but hey, they take the money where they can get it.
The amount of luxury goods sold in the space and collectors that are these appreciating assets, fine art, all these things that could be identified through geolocation, obviously the helium component, and then being able to create a liquid marketplace. This changes everything. All of this is riding on Render and Solana and Helium. Those three horsemen there are really creating something that is a very unique infrastructure that needs all of these things to work, but it really opens up a lot of opportunity. Now I want to play another clip. This kind of ties it in toward the end. This is going into the retail side of things, and this will surprise you a little bit. Listen in.
We're going to share some pretty spectacular stats. So we're going to throw up on the screen what it looks like today, and this is indeed next gen. Yeah.
I think that if you've seen what we've done, we've worked with anyone from Casey Musgraves to Madewell to Mortal Kombat to Care Bears, all these brands.
Yeah, you guys love the collabs.
We love the collabs. Token gating experiences, secret menu items, that's kind of hard to pull off.
We've been piloting at one location in San Francisco, just one, since about mid-September, so 5 weeks?
5 weeks, yeah. We really just relied on word of mouth and our cashiers to really talk about the program. Despite that, we've already got, it's actually 600 now, just heads up. And during the time that we've been in Amsterdam, it's actually 600 users. That's basically every three out of 10 people have signed up for the program already. 31% of orders are now coming in through loyalty at that stage.
Wow.
We've seen 65% increase in spend. So someone that was spending $15 a month is now spending $25 a month,
That's
which
incredible.
is really amazing. 67% of lift in monthly visits. So someone that came in twice a month is now coming in 3 times a month.
Wow.
We've seen a woman that, she's a regular, and, one of her mystery box rewards was a free pastry. And what we've seen now is that now that's part of her habit now. And so what I love about that anecdote is that it actually gives our guests permission to try new things. Now they're coming in every single day. 22 out of the last 29 days.
No, that's almost every single day.
Almost every single day. And now they're gunning for the gold loot box, which is really, really incredible. We've seen 800% ROI. So basically, every dollar we spend on rewards, we're getting back $9 in revenue. So
that's incredible.
We actually are going to roll out across all 24 of our stores in San Francisco, New York, and LA on Black Friday. So on Friday, November 24th, we're dropping this across all our stores. And again, I think, hope our team's ready.
If you know anything about retail, those kinds of numbers they're just unheard of. I've never seen anything like it. I've been seeing and working with retail brands for the last 2.5 decades. This is a game changer for the future. And the only reason this is possible in terms of what we will see in terms of loyalty systems riding within the Solana ecosystem is because of what Solana has been able to do around transaction speed, but the ability to integrate into all these different functions and capabilities of dApps and projects that are going to continue to build on it. So remember, Solana, Render, all these things start to tie together and creates what is known as today a tech stack. Think of this now as more of a blockchain tech stack for the future. Those kind of numbers would change the face of retail in a very big way. Just Boba, guys, this is a very simple company, started in 2011, and basically it's just, classic boba tea. And this is one retailer, one guy that says, I'm willing to take a risk. This is going to start to happen in the industry a lot. So watch out for all that stuff. Hopefully this, guys, has given you guys some insights on where all of this is going. Solana, Render, Helium, all the things we talked about today. Start to connect the dots here, because this is really, I think, the real promise of what blockchain really brings. And let's not forget, the whole idea around decentralized infrastructure, what DePIN truly is going to be in the future, is just beginning. Imagine the functionality once AI truly becomes a little bit more use case, where we'll see applications start to flow into so many different industries. That's the thing that's going to be surprising to a lot of industries, because I don't even think companies that are at the very bleeding edge truly understand this just yet. We're about to see a big breakthrough for sure. All right, so if you guys are not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in now. It's one of the best places to get additional content. And it's a place where you guys can get even my show that I don't do here on YouTube. You can catch Kyle over there. He does a Web3 and gaming show. So all that available, just click the link down below. It's really easy. If you guys want to catch me out there on X, it's at Paul Barron. Catch you next time right here on TechPath.